What's up, everybody? Jordan Stewart here from Vover. Thanks so much for tapping into the Vover original show. Just a reminder that if you want to drop your opinions about the episode or respond to the host and guests with your voice, go and download the Vover app wherever you get your apps. Vover, voice over everything. Enjoyed the show.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Thursday Vover NBA show. I'm your host, Justine Brown, and as we know, never a slow news day in the NBA. Today, the news, as reported by Shams, was that the Dallas Mavericks worked out three players who are currently not in the NBA and looking to make comebacks. And those three players are Monte Ellis, Lance Stevenson, and Isaiah Thomas. Now, as far as these three players go, I think as fans, we all want to see Isaiah Thomas get another look at the league. We want to see Isaiah Thomas get another shot. He is said to be healthy. He said he's the healthiest he's been in years. He's ready for a shot. Will it be Dallas? I don't know, but definitely rooting for IT to get back in the league. First, let's talk about Lance Stevenson and Monta Ellis. Monta Ellis is a 36-year-old guard, not a great shooter, and hasn't been in the league since 2016, 2017. So sure, would Monta Ellis being back in the league be fun? Maybe. Do I see a place where Monte Ellis lands back in the league this season? I don't. I don't know what team he signs with. I don't know what team he fits with, but I don't see that being realistic this season. I could be wrong. Do I think any of these three players make a huge difference in the team they're trying to build around Luka Doncic and the Mavericks trying to get to a finals? I also don't think so. But I do think of these three, Isaiah Thomas would fit on a lot of rosters. I think he would be a great backup veteran point guard to put on a team. And I think maybe I'm biased, but I'd like to see him on one. As for Lance Stevenson, also hasn't played in the league since 2018, 2019. He is only 31 years old. Isaiah Thomas is 32 years old. He's been in 57 playoff games in 9 seasons. He's experienced. He's a vet. Do I see Lance Stevenson back in the league? I don't know. But hey, would I watch Lance Stevenson come off the bench for the Lakers? Absolutely. I would watch Lance Stevenson come off the bench for the Lakers and irritate people and blow in people's faces. And so I'm saying if a team makes sense for Lance Stevenson, might as well add him to that deep veteran playoff experience squad in LA and just keep that streak alive for them. So Lance Stevenson, maybe the Lakers. I don't know. Going back to Isaiah Thomas and the Lakers, Isaiah Thomas did work out with the Lakers earlier this season. Earlier this summer, people thought maybe that would be a good fit for him. LeBron had some commentary around Isaiah Thomas in the summer he's having. If you haven't been paying attention, like I said, Isaiah Thomas says he's healthy for the first time in a long time, and he's been on an absolute tear this summer in summer leagues. He made his Drew League debut, scored 37 points there in July. A week later, he played in the AEBL. He set a record for 65 points. And then a week after that, he went to the crossover league and set another record with 81 points. So if nothing else, he can definitely get buckets still in these pro-ams. And if nothing else, he's showing that he looks healthy. It looks like he can move. He looks like he can still do some of the things the IT we knew and loved could do. And so I think we talk about the slow grind and this hip injury he's been dealing with for years, hampering him. Maybe we can count that injury out now. Maybe we get a fully healthy IT should a team give him a chance. He did play 3 games last year for the Pelicans, but the most notable NBA time that he's gotten in the past few years was in 2019. He averaged 11 points and 3.2 assists with Washington. He's a backup point guard with experience, with leadership. Obviously, I think defense is probably the biggest question, and that's the hard part when you bring in a backup point guard with experience and leadership, but can't bring a lot on the defensive end. I don't know. Where do we want to see him? I'd love to see him in a contender. And I crowdsourced a bit what teams people thought he would be a fit on. And so we're going to talk about a few of those teams, all of which are playoff teams. Well, one's not a playoff team, but 5 of 6 are playoff teams. And that is Philly, Milwaukee, Phoenix, LA, Boston, and New Orleans. Starting with Milwaukee, obviously coming off of a championship. They have a good roster. I don't hate Isaiah Thomas on Milwaukee. I mean, they obviously have Drew Holiday starting. Great point guard, great defensive point guard. And then they have George Hill, who's a great backup point guard, 3-point shooter. George Hill is now back in Milwaukee after going elsewhere for the championship season. He's now back in Milwaukee. So you have those two guys running the point, Do I see value with Isaiah Thomas on this roster? I do. I think Isaiah Thomas comes in and does what Isaiah Thomas does. Maybe he gives them 11 minutes, maybe he gives them 20 minutes, but he brings leadership. I don't hate it. I don't know that it's a fit. I think I see these minutes mostly going to Drew Holiday and George Hill, but I could be wrong. I mean, Coach Bud's already coached George Hill. He knows what he does. He knows what he can do as his backup point guard. That's where I kind of see that. Moving on to Philly. Well, as we all know, Philly's point guard starter, Ben Simmons, is likely gone and on the move. And with that goes a whole lot of defense. So that's my concern here with bringing Isaiah Thomas to Philly. However, I don't know who Philly's starting point guard is. Is it Tyrese Maxey? Is it Shake Milton? That's who they have. And with that being said, with how young those guys are and with how inexperienced, although a great run last year for Tyrese Maxey, still inexperienced as a starter, I think the knowledge and guidance of an Isaiah Thomas on that roster could be hugely beneficial for a young player like Tyrese Maxey. And I do see where that makes sense. Obviously, we're going to see what this transformed Philly roster looks like should and when Ben Simmons gets traded and who they trade for. If they go get a De'Aaron Fox or somebody like that, it looks a little different. So we'll see what happens there. The next place, LA. Like I said, LA already worked him out. LeBron likes IT. That team, once again, veteran squad. They're talking all about how they have their knowledge and their veteran status and their playoff experience, and that's what they're going to ride on this year. So what better than another veteran player you can bring off the bench and rely on when you need to in certain moments? And so maybe that is a good fit. Maybe that's a low-pressure place for Isaiah Thomas to come fit in. And then the last three, Phoenix, Boston, and New Orleans. Phoenix makes sense to me. There's a couple reasons. Number one, I think obviously Chris Paul is their point guard, but I think as far as, once again, IQ, veteran, I think Isaiah Thomas coming off the bench for them wouldn't be a bad thing. Cameron Payne takes a lot of the backup PG. Cameron Payne's also the shooting guard. That gives Cameron Payne more opportunity to keep growing off the wing. I don't hate the Phoenix fit. I don't know that I see that actually happening, but we'll see. A homecoming to Boston is another option. And is it time for Boston to get some redemption? Give Isaiah his chance that he needs, make up for what they did when they let him go, and get another guy on their roster at the point guard position? I'm just saying I don't think that is super far-fetched. Whether Isaiah Thomas wants to go back to Boston, who knows? But also I think Isaiah Thomas is like, where can I get back in the league? Where can I play? I'm sure it'd be bittersweet, but I think he would probably welcome it. And then the last team I want to talk about is the New Orleans Pelicans. Lonzo Ball signed with Chicago. He's gone. And next up is Davonte Graham. And Davonte Graham right now is the New Orleans Pelicans starting point guard. He averaged 30.2 minutes per game and 14.8 points per game last year, 5.4 assists. He's obviously the New Orleans Pelicans starting point guard. But past Davonte Graham, not a lot of depth in New Orleans. I don't really know what New Orleans is looking for right now and exactly what they're trying to build. Obviously, they're trying to make the playoffs. They have good pieces. We'll see what happens with that team. But those are the 6 teams that I'm going to throw out. I'd love to know where you guys would like to see Isaiah Thomas end up. Will we see Isaiah Thomas in the NBA in 2021? We can only hope. Who knows? Maybe the Mavericks liked what they saw. Maybe Isaiah Thomas is a Dallas Maverick tomorrow. Time will tell. This has been your Vover Thursday NBA show. I'm your host, Justine Brown, and I will talk to you guys next week.